What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. What day is it again? It seems that it's Litmas, boys. At least it is every day that you're going to be playing this deck. This is actually an interesting ritual, and this is how I want to start with this article. Then we have some indirect UA support, it feels like. And then finally, towards the bottom of the article, we get a new Link monster that's a little exciting, and a draw too. So actually, let's go from here down and then all the way back up. Litmas, the Doom Swordsman, is a level 8 Dark Warrior ritual effect monster of attack 0, defense 0. You can ritual summon this card with Litmas Doom Ritual. It's lit, boys. You can ritual summon unaffected by trap effects, cannot be destroyed by battle. So we get two forms of immunity for this 0/0 monster, and it's traps aren't the most relevant thing right now, per se, but it's also cool that it can't be destroyed by battle, period. Then, if there is a face-up trap card, this card gains 3,000 attack and defense. Not bad. What else you got for me? If this ritual summon card is destroyed by your opponent, so battle, card effect, etc., but it does have to be destroyed, so tributing by kaiju doesn't activate this, banishing of course doesn't. It's got to be by battle or card effect. You can target one trap card in either graveyard, set it to your spell and trap zone. Well, what I just said actually doesn't ring true because you can't kill it by battle unless its effect is somehow being negated by something like skill drain, but then still it will be able to trigger its graveyard effect here. So yes, there are scenarios that can kill it by battle when I say killed by battle, but targeting a trap in either graveyard and setting it, it will take a little bit to activate, but that's a very good effect to have recurrence for once it leaves the field. Talking about recurrence, Litmas Doom Ritual allows you to ritual summon by tributing monsters you control or have in your hand whose total levels equal or exceed 8. So exceeding is very important here as that allows it to play around with other stuff. And then if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Litmas Doom Swordsman in your graveyard, shuffle both this card and that target into the deck, and draw a card. So you get some recurrence and both resources are added back into your deck as you draw. Not the worst, not the best, definitely interesting and enjoyable though. I do like where their minds were when they created it. Seems pretty balanced, seems pretty fun. Not the worst ritual pair, and I can definitely see it working in some fun decks that are trap based more so. The Link monster is pretty good, gives your opponent one arrow, you have an option for a side arrow yourself, and you have two downward arrows. This is BorrelGuard Dragon, a Link 4 Dark Dragon Link effect monster, attack of 3,000, and it takes 3+ effect monsters similar to BorrelGuard. It cannot be destroyed by card effects, period. That's a pretty good start to any boss monster. Once per turn, you can send one card from your spell and trap zone to the graveyard and special summon one monster that was destroyed and sent to the graveyard during this turn from either player's graveyard to your field, but its effects are negated. Not the worst effect. Still, you're going to be able to use this during your turns, as it's not a quickie as stated, to be able to basically regenerate something relatively free. You send a card from your spell and trap zone, so that can be cards that would get advantage off being sent that way, perhaps. I do like that it has those kinds of synergies perhaps with certain decks, and special summoning any monster that was destroyed, so if you have self-destruction effects as well, you can continue to combo off. Third effect, once per turn quick effect, you can target one monster on the field, change that monster to face-up defense position, and like BorrelGuard, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. So similar to the 500 loss, this one actually turns something to defense, which does nothing against other Link monsters, maybe, but definitely will be an asset against many, many decks in the format. Utopia the Lightning, enter the battle phase. I would like to use this during the start step. Know what I'm saying? Iron Draw, normal spell card, and you're going to be able to draw with this. You can only activate one card with this card's name once per turn, so hard once per turn on even activating. If the only monsters you control are exactly 2 machine effect monsters, not the hardest thing in the world to do, draw 2 cards. But you can only special summon monsters once the rest of this turn. This is cool, balanced, innovative, and as more Machine Link monsters come out, I'm sure we're really going to like this. Also, it says you can only special summon monsters once for the rest of the turn, so it's kind of limiting you to having 2 machine monsters. But at the same time, that's already 2 bodies on board with 1 special summon left on the horizon, and you're not like tributing anything. You're just straight up drawing 2 cards while controlling them. So that's pretty nice, actually. I like this overall. This is kind of how a draw card should be, in my opinion, will fit into very unique and specific decks. Our indirect UA support, boys. Edaton the Conqueror Star, a level 10 Light Warrior fusion effect monster with an attack of 3,000, defense of 2,200. Let's get its full text on the screen here. You can only use this card's first effect once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can add a level 5 warrior monster from your deck to your hand. So it is specifically 5. It will fit the cards up top, maybe a little more specifically, but it's still cute that you can grab the level 5 UA. Once per turn, you can discard any number of cards. This card gains 200 attack for each discarded. He already starts out at 3k, so maybe when you're going for game. Once per damage calculation, when this card battles an opponent's monster whose level is lower than or equal to this card's level, which is already buff at 10, you can have that opponent's monster's attack become 0 during this damage calculation. I'm pretty sure you want to do that during damage calculation. That seems pretty darn good. So you get a search effect, and its materials are 2 level 5 or higher warrior monsters, which fits UA relatively well, and then turbos out into more damage, which is kind of what they already have, which is, this is a different archetype, but it fits with what the UA monsters are capable of, and it gives you fusion summoning as a mechanic rather than relying only on that normal summon, tag out, and hoping for getting there. Shura, the Combat Star, continues up the ladder from the other because it specifically uses it as Edaton the Conqueror Star as a fusion material and any level 5 or higher warrior monster. So, again, playing with the UA stats, that's pretty good for that deck. And once per turn, during the battle phase, quick effect, you can make the attack of all face-up monsters your opponent controls become 0. UA loves pumping out damage, and that just makes it seem even better. Once per damage calculation, when monsters are battling, you can activate this effect. The attack of each of those battling monsters become 200 times their level during this damage calc. Well, he's 0/0, but he's also level 12, so he's always going to like become 2,400, while your opponent's monsters are highly likely less. If this fusion summon card is destroyed by your opponent and sent to the graveyard, so by battle, by card effect, etc., you can special summon 1 Edaton the Conqueror Star from your extra deck. This is treated as a fusion summon. So if they have no option to deal with it, and they have to deal with it by a destruction, you will get that effect. So cycling through each other, it's kind of cute. The search effect is definitely a bonus. And then the ability to perhaps fusion summon in UA rather than only relying on normal summons. Not bad, not bad. It's not like it's going to bust UA out or anything. And let's read what it actually was meant to come out with. These level 5 monsters who have kind of unique summoning effects, but nothing to really rant or rave over. A level 5 Earth Warrior effect monster, attack 2,100, defense 0. You can only use this card's second effect once per turn. If only your opponent controls a monster, so them only, or if you control a light monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing. So these effects kind of rely on either your opponent already having cards out or you managing to get a card out in order to normal summon. When this card is normal summon / special summon, you can special summon 1 level 5 light warrior monster from your hand. So you're able to start comboing them out together, and that's kind of where this shines a little, but it's not really the most busted either. Once per turn, when a warrior monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can have this card lose 500 attack, and if it does, negate that attack. So it's able to attack, modify, Utopia, sort of. Specifically warrior monsters. I don't know about that one. You're probably trying to fusion summon if you've got him out, or overlay, or do something besides leave him out. We've got Tenma, the Sky Star, a level 5 light warrior effect monster, 2,100, defense 1,000. You can only use this card's second effect once per turn. If only your opponent controls a monster, or if you control an Earth monster this time, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If this card is normal / special summoned, you can special summon 1 level 5 Earth Warrior monster from your hand. Now this one's a bit better, since if you control an Earth monster, you get this out Seraphonite anybody, additional normal summon without having to tribute. That's starting to feel a little nicer. And then you can special summon one level 5 Earth Warrior monster from your hand. Basically, the other guy. The next one is Light that we're going to read, but basically you can special him on out or any Earth Warrior monster from your hand. And then once per turn, when a warrior monster you control is targeted by an opponent's card effect, you can have this card lose 500 attack, and if it does, negate the activation if you do destroy it. I think that's a little more, like, specific, but at the same time, a little bit better than the other card. Like, targeting... A lot of traps slash reactives don't necessarily want to target or have to target, but it's still decent. Like, it protects from mind control, I guess. It's definitely not the worst kind of keeper or gatekeeper card as you go up through a combo. And then we have Kaiki, the Unity Star. My bad. A level 5 Light Warrior effect monster, attack 1000, defense 2100, so not as buff as his counterparts, but he comes with a special bonus. You can only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn each. If this card is special summoned, you can pay 500 light points. Fusion summon one warrior monster from your extra deck using monsters you control or have in your hand as fusion materials. Not bad. That's how these guys get made easily. During your opponent's turn, if you control a level 5 or higher warrior monster whose attack is different from its original attack quick effect, you can special summon this card from the graveyard. So this actually can perhaps fit in UA a little bit because they're all level 5 or higher warriors for the most part. And then it's also the ones that you can get out to the field in the sense not through the average summon. And then you also are able to... attack modify a lot in UA, so perhaps some synergy, but mostly to note the fusions when I'm talking about that deck. But I like it as a whole. It's cute, it's nice. I know I'm saying cute a lot lately. My fiance's been around so much and she's so cute. But I definitely do like where a lot of these cards come from and are. We have maybe some competitive aspects with these cards, and then some more casual, some fun stuff for like deck building challenges on the stream. I don't think any of these will make their way necessarily top tier, most competitive decks right now. These definitely, I think the fusion monsters have the most potential for that outside of these two. But I do like where the anime-esque feel of these cards have, and there's something different, and I personally enjoy them. It doesn't have to be competitive to enjoy it, boys. So thanks for watching. I know I'm rambling. We're almost at 5 a.m. right now on the channel. I'll probably preset this to upload maybe 7 a.m., and then there's going to be a first place deck profile later in the day, guys. So I appreciate you guys so much for being here and listening to Old Man John go through Yu-Gi-Oh cards at 5 a.m. in the morning.